Hi, it's Pip here from queenpipcards.com, just popping in to do the third and final card in my Painted Harvest glass in a box. Or if you're watching this online because I've released it separately, then hello, this is just a card using the Painted Harvest and Painted Autumn bundle from the Autumn and Winter Catalogue 2017. So this is the card we're going to be making. As you can see, it uses the sentiment, the papers and just the leaf at the back. I didn't use any of the other stamps for this one. So I just wanted to show you how you can create, you don't need to have an embossing folder or, different kind of papers or whatever. You can just make a lovely background just using stamps. But I also wanted to really highlight the leaves because it kind of, this paper, this particular piece of paper has been my favourite in the entire suite. I just think it's so cute with the little flower, the little leaves and the little dots, and it's simple, it's elegant, and I just wanted to kind of tie the whole card together. And just on a lemon lime twist base, it was a little bright. So if you just see this. When I built it up originally, it was just this on that base and then on some dark green card, and I just thought, ooh, okay, that's a little bright. What can I do? Because I love the colours, I want the colours to go together, so what can I do to just tone this down? So that's what we're going to start with, how to create your base piece of card with just your garden green ink and just with the solid leaf pattern that's in the Painted Harvest stamp set. So you're going to ink it up and you're just going to start stamping. And the good news is that you don't even need to do the whole card because not all of the card is going to be showing. You're only going to see the edge of this because we're covering it up with some of the Designer Series paper. So you just go round randomly, or as random as you can get, because it's almost virtually impossible to do random. People say, oh yeah, randomly stamp, and everyone goes, I can't do random. And it's difficult to do random because as human beings we like to see patterns in everything. So naturally, by instinct, you're going to try and put a pattern to it. So don't panic if that's what's happening. Just try to zhuzh it up a bit or do something different or make it, go the opposite direction or something so that you can try not to have, even then it's kind of patterny. But just make sure that you've got enough leaves on there so that when you put this piece down, see, it's pretty much all going to be hidden. I might put there's a little gap there, so I might put that to the bottom, or I might just pop in a leaf. So if you think there's a gap or something that doesn't look quite right, what should we do? One of these leaves maybe? Or this leaf? I think this leaf. We'll pop this leaf just in there. Yeah, that looks better. It's funny, isn't it? Just a tiny little piece. This gap's okay, I'm happy with that. Even that one's okay, but that one was a little bit glary. So yeah, just make sure that you've got enough to go all the way around. This piece over here, again, I'm not quite happy with that. I might put a stalk in there. Just something to pull it, to lift it. Maybe a little bit of a leaf over there. There we go. So, you can go in and you can fill in afterwards, but the general idea is that you just keep going around with your stamp, and then that's your pattern paper at the back done. So that's that bit. Really quick and easy. Then the next thing you're going to do is you're going to stamp the words again, garden green, and you're going to stamp that onto a stitched circle, stitched shapes framelit, the circle one. I think it's the second largest. It's certainly not the smallest, I know that way, so it's one of the ones in the middle. And I'm going to take my Pierce mat and make sure I get a good coverage on this. So this Pierce mat helps to just give the squishiness back to the photopolymer, because you don't have that when you're stamping with photopolymer like you do with with clear mount with the rubber. Okay, so I'm just going to leave a little gap at the bottom for where I want to put my bow, and then straight up, straight down. Hold it a little bit because it is photopolymer and you need to have a bit of time for that to go sink in. There we go. Excellent. Right, so that's the stamping done. Simple on this one. Now we need to start putting it together, and when I start putting a card together, or if you've got all your layers ready, I always work from top to bottom. So that's going to be the first thing that I put together, and those I've put together just flat. So there's no dimensionals on that piece, but there is dimensionals underneath it. So that's going to go on there, like that. There we go, lovely. Then we're going to have our early espresso and our designer series paper go down next. I love this fast fuse. It is so easy to use. I don't know why people, I don't know, it's got a bad rep, but I love it. It's so simple and it sticks so well. Right, I'm just going to pop that down on there. Good, good. And then I'm going to use I'm going to see where I want it to go again. It's about that much up. Technical term, that much. Use my grid paper, fast fuse again on the back, and I'm going to turn my ribbon over this time and do it this way, see what it looks like. Okay, pop that down there, run it across. Oh no, I haven't, I've done it the other way, I've still done it that way. Oh, that's weird. Yeah, no, it's definitely, it should be that way. It should be that way. Sorry. On the previous card in the class, we were talking about whether I'd done my ribbon upside down or not, because it looked like it could go either way, really. But I think that's the way it's supposed to go. Yeah, with the little fuzzy bits at the bottom and the scallopy bit at the top. Okay, so that's that. Then I will do my card base. Okay, fold that in half, which is obviously just an A4 piece of paper cut in half. I cut mine at so if this is your A4 piece of cardstock, you just cut it in half at 14.9, and then you just fold that in half. That gives you a nice A6 size. Okay, so this also went flat. You know, I know it's so easy to overlayer your cards, and if you're sending them through the post, before you know it, you're at a large letter. And much as oh no, well, see, I'm chatting and I'm not paying attention. Let me just, let's do this one. So, this one goes on first. It's good to know, get your base down. But yes, it's so easy to overlay, and then you can't post them to people. And I like posting cards. I like the whole idea of making a card and sending a card, and, you know, physically sending it to somebody rather than just handing it to them, or you know, giving it to somebody else to give them. It's even worse. But I like the idea of physically posting it. But I do know that a large letter is, you know, nearly £2. So it's a good idea, if you can do it, to make them flat enough that they'll go through a standard letter, and these will. So this is fine. So you can have layers, just don't necessarily put them up on too many. One layer of dimensionals, fine. 2 layers, getting a bit tight. Adding extra bits on top of 2 layers, you're into large letter territory. And I send a lot of cards, obviously. So for me, I like to make my designs so that they go nicely in the post, make somebody's day a good day, but also, you know, reasonable postage. Because that's an excuse that a lot of people use these days, not to send cards. Oh, it's so expensive. Well, it doesn't have to be. Okay, so then just to finish this one off, we're going to just do a little bow. Now remember, Pip's rule. Leave yourself a tail over your finger, round, back through, and pull. This gives you plenty of movement. Okay, and this is twine. Even if it's ribbon, even if it's your most expensive ribbon, your poshest ribbon, you know, it's much better to have a nice bow and feel like you've achieved something beautiful than never use it because you don't tie a bow because you don't want to waste, you know, an inch. Well, it's only an inch. It's an inch. There we go. And now we can pop that on. Right, glue dot obviously is the best way of putting on these. I roll my glue dot in half like that. Oops, I don't generally take it off the roll, but there we go, it's coming. I normally just roll it over and then attach it to the back of my bow like so. There we go. Right, that's it. That's another card done. That's your third card done if you are on the class in a box. So I hope you've enjoyed the class, and if you're just watching because I've popped this up on my YouTube channel, I hope you enjoyed learning how to make your own background. And if you're intrigued, maybe you'd like to have a class in the box in the future, all the details will be over on my website, www.queenpipcards.com. And if this is your class in a box, I hope you've enjoyed it. Thank you very much for purchasing it, and have a lovely day. Thank you very much. Take care. Bye.